Welcome to the Miles Offside podcast, where we talk a little bit of football and a whole lot of nothing. My name is Chuck Bailey, and with me I have a very special guest, a man who, and let's not get too overblown by this, but a man who allegedly mixed Marty Pello the other week. Ladies and gentlemen, super producer Ian Stimson.
Oh man,
how are you, Ian?
The list of 80s pop stars I've got, mate. Lisa Stansfield, can I interest you in?
I mean, sure. She's a person. I wouldn't say I'm interested, but
sure. No, that's fair.
Did you do Gabrielle, or
no,
is she still
only.
out of reach?
She's just out of reach.
Every time.
Oh, dear.
Always
Good
works. No, Adam this week. Unfortunately, after I tried to smuggle him back into the country in my suitcase from the American Adventure.
Oh, so we took him?
He was, he's been detained. He was detained, so he can't join us this week.
I like the idea that we took Adam to America, didn't let him talk on episode 200, and then tried to bring him back.
Oscar wasn't interested when he was there. Tried to bring him back, sadly not. So, okay. Adam, we wish you well, and we hope to see you again when you return from Rwanda.
Yeah. TSA, the UK authorities, all famously forgiving. It's absolutely fine, mate. You'll be all right.
Deported. How have you been since returning? Have you managed to eat a meal since we came back?
It was a while. I did sort of have a bit of a coffee purge after. I'm trying to put a French thing on that to make it sound less awful.
Purge.
Purge. Yeah, purge, exactly. Then I started eating things that had like vegetables in them.
Eating things that had like vegetables. Wow.
Yeah, like the green things. America was that was bread and cheese, wasn't it? and pasta and sugar.
It was very much carbs, cheese, sugar, a wee bit of protein.
Yeah.
I had a bloody lovely time.
Yeah.
It's the first time we've really spoken since. But
it is, yeah. We've sort of kept our powder dry. Remember when I blocked Oscar's toilet?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Surprised that, it took a heavy payload that week. I'll just say that. Many times exclaiming that it flushed on the first yank. This is what you want. Good poo chat.
We're a football podcast.
International poo chat.
When you go to America and you eat the level of carbs and cheese that we did, then these are the consequences. It's not our fault, is it? And it's not the sewage system's fault, and and I'm just very glad that Oscar had a toilet plunger by his. Why has he got a toilet plunger? But
not a brush.
I'm so glad he did. But and I just had to sort of say, just don't worry, Oscar. I'll deal with this. Just leave me in the room for 15 minutes, and I'll deal with it.
Yeah,
and
you really did yourself a disservice that day, but at least you tried to, make up for it.
No, America did me a disservice.
I don't know. I think it served us well. My waistband is still expanded. Just the 7 pounds gained in a week.
Yeah, you won that competition.
3.2 kilos in old money for those interested. Old money, new money, any money.
Yeah.
But yeah, we had a bloody lovely time. So
we did. Thank you, Oscar. You're
Oscar
such,
and
Emily.
And Dr. Emily.
Yeah, Dr. Emily, sorry.
Specifically.
Such good hosts.
But yeah, now back to life, back to reality. Lisa Stansfield, she comes back in again. Is that Lisa Stansfield?
No, that's... No, that is Soul to Soul.
Soul to Soul.
And I've mixed them.
He's mixed them. There we go.
Mate, honestly, if
Fantastic.
They're 80s, 90s based, I've fucking mixed them.
Yeah, sorry. It's just that, where I've been around the world and I can't remember the artists that I'm going to talk about.
I love you, Chuck.
Have you been watching football?
I watched a little bit of football. I watched Peterborough in America.
That was weird. Sorry, we're going back to
we're
America
go back
again.
To America, yeah.
Passport stamped. Didn't get that, but anyway, British. You had to travel. How close proximity and also time travelling distance from the Western Homes do you live?
Oh, so yeah, I am a mere mile and a half probably from the Western Homes Stadium, Theatre of Dreams, and no time at all really to a short bus ride, taxi ride, whatever. But I can't watch them at 3:00 on a Saturday when I should be there anyway, but often.
Well, they are your local team, so
yeah, they are.
Unless there is a field nearby
no,
with a closer team that you're
they're
supposed
actually
to
not my
support.
local team. The local team is the next village over, Yaxley FC.
Up the axe.
Always do well in the FA Cup preliminary round, whatever. And but anyway, yeah. I could not believe that Peterborough versus Derby was on ESPN Plus. I assume
Insane.
Everyone in America subscribes. But yeah, amazing. Me, you, and Oscar and Emily, in a way, bailed out in the first half.
Yeah, we watched the first half, and
it was
not
bad.
a word of it. It's one of the worst things I've ever watched.
It was very poor.
Not a word of a lie. Oscar and Emily both fell asleep in the first half. Luckily, you picked your shit up in the second half.
Yep.
Lovely couple of goals.
Yep.
And a 2-0.
Yeah. And now, Chuck, I mean, after this week's result, Peterborough are actually in the playoff places. We have finished a week in the playoff places. We are in 6th, and Derby and Wickham and all those little slugs can fuck off because we're going up. That's the headline here.
Sure.
We're going up via the playoffs.
To be promoted, you are 1% higher than Wycombe, but 3% lower than Derby. So
3% lower than Derby, yet we're above them in the league. Oh, that's a damning indictment of the quality actually on the show.
Yeah,
okay.
I mean, you're not good.
No. Well, yes, you saw that.
And unfortunately, in the mix there are reigning now in current Papa John's champions.
Yes.
Bolton Wanderers.
Tom Townley.
Shout out Tom Townley having a lovely day. Really worried about heading to Wembley. They were 2-0 up inside 10 minutes. Don't know what you're worrying about, mate.
Unbelievable. What a lovely time that must have been for a largely meaningless trophy. And I don't mean to take that away from Bolton, but what I'm saying is
Papa John's champions.
What I'm saying is the Papa John's is a bit of a gimme, isn't it? Like if you go, and if you lose, it's not the end of the world. But if you win, you can be like, fuck you. And what was it? 4-0 it finished, didn't it?
4-0.
Yeah. Good Lord, Tom. Well, he must have had a lovely old time.
So insert name of other team here, had to buy them all the Papa John's pizzas. There
Plymouth,
are just facts.
a
Plymouth
P team. I'm not
a
sure.
P sound some pricks. So there we go. League One chats.
Stuff done. Lots of stuff covered.
Done. Premier League, by and large, Premier League has much changed, really? There's still a big old blob of shit down the bottom. Arsenal and Man City win every game, and no one really knows what they're doing to qualify for Europe. Does that feel about right?
It does feel about right. The only major change, I would say, is that Chelsea are now a bottom half team.
Yes.
I think that's the only major change.
I believe you have to refer to them as rudderless Chelsea.
Good Lord, I'm so sorry.
Bottom half team. No, that's fine. It will come up later in the debrief. But yeah, rudderless Chelsea, they have binned Graham Potter as of, I don't know, some time recently, after, what seems to be a poor run for them that left them in 11th now, quarterfinals of the Champions League. But yes, they are rudderless. I mean, we've spoken about it at length, really, in general, and I still kind of stand by it, that I think it's pretty stupid to get rid of him.
Well, yeah, okay. Let's talk about the Potter situation now. I mean, it's an interesting one, isn't it? Because obviously, they have talked about the new ownership of Chelsea. Have talked about how they're going to build for the future. Potter was going to be a project manager, and most Chelsea fans had already written off the Premier League season anyway, because obviously they're not going to get top 4. That's been obvious for a while now.
Yeah.
So what is the thinking behind this move? Is it just that there's still a vague hope of Champions League glory? Is that it? Is it just because there's been
he was doing well in the Champions League. Like, I mean, they've got Real Madrid, so chances are they're fucked and out.
Yeah. Well, this is what I mean. It just seems if you're gonna build a project for the future, it just seems like you don't bin a manager just because there's the slightest chance of success in the Champions League, which you only won the other year anyway. So just don't worry about it. You've had one. Let someone else have it.
Let someone else have a go. Try and win the Papa John's.
The one they all want. But it's a little bit worrying from a Chelsea point of view, because the chaos is now squared, isn't it? The chaos that was already... There's reports of first-team players getting changed in the corridors because there's not enough room in changing rooms for them to get changed. And it's...
Training sessions where they're having to do an 11 versus 11 and a 9 versus 9 game because there's just too many players.
Oh my! 18 plus 20. That's 40
players. Yes, Ian.
Okay.
Well done.
Okay, good. I'm good at maths. I've got this down. That is an insane number of players. But yeah, so the chaos is still that level of chaos is still going to be there. Yep. So I don't mean. I don't get what at this point does it happen. What happens? All those players are still there. There's still absolute carnage. He's trying to set up something for the future. Any manager who wants to set up something for the future needs to take time. He was 7 months into a 5-year deal. He's now been fired. Bowley sacked 2 managers in a season. Roman Abramovich never did that. Lol. Which I find brilliant. I don't understand what they're going to do. The usual kind of expected names. Julian Nagelsmann has been thrown out there because of his situation. Oh, bless you. His situation at Bayern is over, and Tuchel's gone in there. So therefore, should Nagelsmann now go to Chelsea, and then Potter waits and then goes to Bayern when Tuchel gets fired? I don't know. It's real, just indicative of an absolute mess. And anybody with a subscription to The Athletic will be able to see that even measured journalists are kind of finding it hard in their balanced articles to not make it seem like the club's an absolute fucking basket case at the minute. Shown weirdly, if they think that everything is wrong, why have they only amicably agreed to remove Graham Potter and left former Brighton defender Bruno there, whose only notable contribution to the landscape of football is getting bodied by Yannick Bolasie in the Championship playoff semi-final. Go find a video. It's brilliant. Like, why is that? Why is all of that structure still there and all of those people still there? It's really weird. Like, it seems like there's no plan, and they've said the same thing of like we haven't spoken to anyone out of respect. Well, then you're a bit of a fucking idiot. Exactly. You wanted to fire him for God knows how long, and you've not spoken to anyone and not got your ducks in a row, and you've bought all these billions of players, and you're then gonna sell some because you're gonna have to sell some, and who knows who's gonna play there. Baffling, absolutely baffling. Yeah, and we're not talking about the only manager that has been sacked seemingly because of a result this week, because obviously we'll get to Brendan Rodgers.
Oh, should we play Oscar's thing?
Oh, well, I haven't actually listened. I never do, because I like to hear it. I like to hear it live, as it were. So, what does Oscar think about this situation?
Do you want the 1 minute and a half one, which I complained without hearing that it was a bit long, and then at the end of the recording he said I would complain because it's a bit long, or do you want the shortened one as a response?
Shortened one.
Yeah.
Hey guys, Oscar checking in from Chelsea Island. So we fired Potter. Which, fair enough, I guess. We are a mess of a club, independent of him, but that doesn't mean he was doing a good job particularly. I don't think he was doing a bad job particularly. I don't really care one way or another if he's our manager or if someone else is our manager. We do seem to have a pretty talented young set of players who might make some noise next year. We still generated a good amount of XG in this match, even though we lost, which is kind of our story in general. But yeah, the thing I'm really upset about would be Mount going to Liverpool and Reece James going to Real Madrid. That would make me very bad, sad.
Oof.
But not so much Potter. So whatever. I don't know. As long as we keep making XG, I'm happy. Bye.
Oh yes, there we go. So, and speaking of XG,
well, Potter was the perfect manager.
Absolutely. Dust off the jingle that hasn't been used for ages, Ian.
Oh.
Here was Fireman. Yeah, bist ein, this have bad.
People might be wondering, what the fuck was that? Why, that sounded kind of like Burnley of the Week, but was that backwards? Yes, that's right. We haven't done it in God knows how long, but I'm awarding the Watford of the Week. What's that? No one really guesses. They underperformed a load and fucked it, and the other team were still quite good. Chelsea 0, Aston Villa 2. Chelsea generating 2.1 of XG, 0.9 for Aston Villa. That result going to do that to you, I guess, and be the nail in the coffin for Graham.
Well, this is it. So this is what I was going to say. Was this purely result based? Because Chelsea were having what seemed like a bit of a mini resurgence before this result, and then this game, Chelsea did all right. Like, Villa were good. They, good value for the win, absolutely. But Chelsea did all right. This was not what Man United did against Newcastle on Sunday, where Newcastle absolutely dominated them and deserved the win. No, but you know what I'm saying? So the results were the same, 2-0, but I think they were two very different games in that Chelsea did create chances. Now, I know that's the Potter fucking methodology, create chances, don't worry about it if you score them. But, I feel like if this result hadn't have gone this way, and if Leicester's result hadn't have gone their way, these two managers wouldn't have been sacked. And that seems bizarre to me when you're talking about a manager who's supposed to be taking you into the future. And I'm going bigger picture again rather than just this match. Sorry, I know this is a Watfording of.
No, let's very broad strokes this.
Okay, good.
Let's broad strokes a bit, flap about, and then get out of here.
Lovely. Okay, good. That's what I'm good at. So what I mean is, if Graham Potter thought he was genuinely going to see out his 5-year contract, obviously he wasn't. He was never going to do that. It's Chelsea. But, he might have done all of his formation changes, all of his personnel changes, all of his tactical nonsense. He might have done that because he thought, well, I'm going to try out these players in different places. Yeah. I know that Cucurella is not a left centre-back of a 3, but I'm going to just see whether that works. He should have known it wouldn't. He managed that player before. Why would you do that? But you know what I'm saying? Yeah. All of Chelsea's previous myriad of different starting 11 lineups might have been because Graham Potter felt comfortable with his 5-year contract and being told that he was a manager for the future. I can play with this a little bit. This season is a bit of a gimme. And
everyone thought that, and everyone said that.
And he's not been given that.
Even the board said that. They were like, this isn't about this season, this is about next season. And then you gradually throughout the season hear these different things from reputable sources saying, they didn't realise that Champions League basically wasn't guaranteed, and stupid things like that could possibly be true. We've all heard the 4-4-3 story, how Tuchel just kind of fell out with, and regardless of the kind of idiosyncrasies of that and laughing against stereotypes, you can't have a manager in there that the reason Brighton thrived and are continuing to thrive is everything being joined up, all of it. And if you don't have that, then it doesn't matter. You can put, if you put the best manager in the world in there, but you just keep throwing millions of players at them, they're going to be like, what the fuck? Or what is this? Look at what Guardiola does at Man City. Yeah, they buy in players, but they buy on the right players that he wants at that time. And when he wants to sell players, they get sold. Chelsea haven't done that. All they've done is just accumulated all of these players on monstrous contracts, very, very long contracts, 6, 7, 8 years.
Yeah.
To now be like, what? So who's coming in now? They don't have a director of football. So what's the joined up thinking for the future? Just buy a young player, maybe be good? Question mark? Who knows?
It seems
£500 million in a year spent.
But we know it wasn't spent by him in inverted commas per se, because he didn't, in press conferences, he didn't even know what was going on with transfer policy. He had no idea, and that is increasingly what the world is like now, So with directors of football and head coaches not being managers and such. But I don't know, it just seems like he was even more disconnected than some managers in the Premier League these days. And if he'd have been given the chance to settle in, then maybe things would have been okay. But where do Chelsea go now? with a manager. So obviously, as we record at the minute, this is Tuesday night. As we record, Nagelsmann's the front runner, isn't he?
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, would he want the job? Do you think, like, he coming from Bayern, would you want to come to a club that at the minute is performing like a mid-table club? Admittedly, there's a lot, as Oscar said in his message there's a lot of young talent, and obviously this club with the money behind it and stuff has got a lot of potential to do well. We all thought they'd do. We all thought they'd do better this season, you know.
Sure.
But it's just a case of now. I don't know what manager is perfectly happy going to Chelsea. Is all I'm saying. You know.
Yeah,
of course managers will go, but
yeah, I don't know if in their situation, and maybe Leicester's the same. That I don't think that to sort it out. I don't think the type of manager you can get to sort things out in this situation is the type of manager you want long term.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's a good point. Yeah,
because no matter what, they've got to get through to the summer. They've got to, Chelsea have to have a player purge this summer. They just have to. So
financially,
you have to have the right person in play for that, because that's just, otherwise you're just left with what? Another monstrous squad, and it doesn't work. And so then you need a manager in there that's going to kind of be able to put noses out of joint and make the hard decisions of saying to these players, look, you're just not going to play now. That's it.
Yeah.
And then what if those are the players that the next manager wants? And then you mess about with all about it. I just think it's absolute clusterfuck. Stand by what I say, that Potter should have been given at least, I think, probably all of the summer, sort out the players, reassess again maybe in the winter, because I think he would have sorted out. But honestly, I think next season, a season without Europe, would have been really good for them and would have really, really helped to clear the decks and set a long future. Which
agreed. Unless you're going to bring a superstar manager in who like immediately, who? Yeah, agreed. Who? But like, who can immediately give you a chance at this year's Champions League, which seems like such a shoot for the moon sort of thing.
Best, but would you agree that Jurgen Klopp is one of the best managers?
Yeah.
Okay. So how long has he been at Liverpool? 7-8 years? How long did they have to back him for them to start winning anything? 4 years? They had some sustained success. Pep's not going to leave. The names that get thrown around, Nagelsmann was supported massively within the Red Bull system and did well. Other names, Ruben Amorim, he's at Sporting, I believe. Again, part of a system where they've had to sell a lot of players, but he's been backed and given time. That's just it. Time is what happens. Mikel Arteta, for fuck's sake, Arsenal, top of the league now, absolutely destroying Leeds in their latest game 4-1, 3.8 to 0.7 XG. Top of the league now by, 8 points, but City have a game in hand. A year ago, people were saying he should be getting fired. And now look, this is it. This is what you can get. And I find it so weird that with those examples right in front of you, you can't see, right, maybe there's something in this. Yeah. Oh no, we'll just go again. Sack again. Rodgers, are we surprised about Rodgers? Did we think it would be sooner?
Rodgers, well, yeah, there you go. So, I mean, Rodgers is such an interesting one, because you can definitely see the argument that Leicester have, since COVID, had huge financial problems because of the business of the owners, which is very much based on travel, which wasn't obviously happening, and the financing severely dropped off. But even what they did with the money they had was terrible. How much of that is Rodgers? I don't know. Again, we're talking about how much does these days the manager have the power to talk about transfers? How much is it director of football? Didn't Leicester lose their director of football a year or two ago as well? And it's been a bit directionless. They bought Bertrand, who hasn't really worked out. What's his name? Vestergaard.
Oh yeah, the one that I still think plays for Southampton.
Yeah. Well, he might as well do. You've had players that haven't really kicked on, and could that be Rodgers' fault? Because there's Daka, and I think he's a decent player,
exceptional,
but hasn't kicked on really in the Premier League to the extent of the likes that Jamie Vardy did, for instance. So, it's a very iffy one. This, I don't know who Leicester get, who is better than Rodgers. Graham Potter, maybe. I don't know. Where does Graham Potter go next?
Well, I find it a similar situation. Like, they weren't buying players because of the amount of players they had. They weren't selling players because they didn't want to sell. I mean, you look at all of the amount that Maddison, Tielemans, those kind of players have been touted, and they're still there, or they're not necessarily playing. And so
a lot of them are in the last year of their contracts. I mean, it could get really nasty quite quickly.
I think they're in like they're kind of in like a Chelsea to Brighton halfway house. In the, I think, but in that Brighton buy well and sell at the right time and sell for profit. In years gone by, they haven't, but they were just rolling their luck, and, certain players that they were buying for 10, 15 million, and then they were just disappearing and never seeing again. Your handbacks, Locadia, other names are available. But when you have a Cucurella, you have, it will be Caicedo, Trossard that they sold. Trossard was one where it was just like the manager was like, well, you know what, he's not really contributing.
It was right for everyone. Yeah.
Like, really ruthless in cutting that. Chelsea, on the other hand, spend a load of money and then just keep all their players. And Leicester are in the middle, kind of buying well, buying smartly, but then just not using that next step to kick on that they had after, naturally after they had, the league win. They won. Didn't they win the FA Cup like last year?
Yeah. I mean, it's not like Rodgers is trophyless. Absolutely, yeah, you're right.
No, and so like some of those players, they needed to kind of kill their darlings in that situation to move on. I think some of it is Rodgers' team selection. I think Vardy was in for far too long, where he's not as effective. And then Daka, Iheanacho has had good runs of form, but Jesus, Iheanacho's been there like 5 years at this point.
Yeah, it has been funny, hasn't it? Because Iheanacho's had, like you say, good runs of form. And then the second Vardy's fit again, he just pops him straight back in. And you're like, come on. If someone's in good form, just let him carry on playing. When Vardy's the other side of the age curve, you can just go, well, we'll look to the future here. But I think there was a bit of the Premier League winner thing, weren't there, with Vardy? Or rather, Premier League talisman, you can genuinely say, because with him and Mahrez on the Premier League winning season, they did it
true.
Very, not themselves, but they were absolute superstars. And I think there was a little bit of that, like I have in FPL, where I just still believe that Salah will do things.
He'll come good.
Exactly. And I think there was a little bit of that with Rodgers, definitely. Not trusting you guys, or not thinking, how can I play this team slightly differently so it doesn't just have to be always ball in over the top or inside or whatever, and get Vardy to run onto it. Well, maybe you can do other things with younger players, But yeah, it's it does seem like we've got a sudden managerial merry-go-round, as you said, like with who knows who will be playing,
who knows who
each other with who in charge. De Zerbi is now, of the 20 managers that we've got in the Premier League, the 11th most longest serving.
Wow. Yeah, it's been the highest number of sackings. I saw 13. Something the other day. Insane.
And and you don't usually get sackings now in this sort of March, April time,
Well, not after you've just had an international break.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean,
if you're going to do it, do it.
Yeah.
Then, don't wait until after, because what have you done for those 2 weeks?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, poor Leicester fans, because the bookie's favourite at the minute is Rafa Benitez. Like, you're fucked.
Is that the favourite?
I mean, not by much, but yeah, it's off. But they'll probably get someone.
I did read today that Potter had already turned them down, which made me laugh that the offer had already
even
gone
been offered, just in public, just like no.
Yeah, maybe the offer had gone in. Yeah, you're right. Maybe just gone. That job, definitely not.
Yeah,
I'm not interested.
No, definitely. And then I guess while we're talking about the merry-go-round, we move on to contestant number 3, which I completely forgotten about until you mentioned before we recorded. Antonio Conte is Gone.
Yeah, we
He was just really sick in hospital. Fired.
came back, saw him for a couple of games, and went, "Fuck this shit." Goes
Fuck
out
this.
on a presser and tells the truth,
I prefer to kill him.
and immediately gets sacked for it. So do we want to talk Spurs Everton, where literally everything Conte said was proven to be absolutely true?
Well, take us through it. I must admit that game did pass me by yesterday evening. Married at First Sight is on at the minute, guys. Come on.
Fine, no
That's
worries.
important.
Okay.
But I did see, obviously, there was a red card for Everton, a late red card for Tottenham, which then led to an Everton goal, obviously.
Okay, well, I'll try and fill you in. I'll try and fill you in a little bit. First half, don't bother. Right off, boring. And
sorry, Tottenham or Peterborough?
Both. But actually, you might as well have been watching Peterborough. Yeah, awful. But then, so then what happens is Decore puts his hand into Kane's face. You know, a push when Kane. They get involved in a bit of a tussle, but Decore is stupid, puts his hand up into his face. Not a punch or anything silly like that, but yeah, still definite red card. You know, no worries about that. And you think, oh right, here we go. Then Tottenham are going to use their quality now, and it's not going to be a problem because they should be able to overrun a 10-man Everton who had to sack their manager this season. No, that is not what happened at all, because of course Sean Dyche used the tactic that we all know from Southampton's Nathan Jones.
The 10-man free hit chip.
You go down to 10 men and you
gain
immediately gain an advantage. And that is what it fucking looked like. Honestly, Tottenham proved everything that Conte was saying is true, as having a complete soft centre and just... You know, it was literally 5 minutes after that Kane got a penalty and put it away, and you thought, right, Tottenham are going to kick on here 3-0, no problem, because they're, you know, Everton are a man down. It was literally about 5 minutes after Decore was sent off that they got the penalty, so you sort of think, you know, Everton are going to be dejected here, you know, no problem. Tottenham just decided, now's the time. It wasn't even... I was going to say Tottenham decided to shut up shop. It wasn't even that cut and dried, because Everton was still trying. So based on that, you might have thought, let's try and get a second here. There was nothing about them at all that made you think this is a team that's fourth in the Premier League. It's sort of, I look at the league now and I'm still like stunned that Tottenham are fourth in the Premier League. It's awful for the Premier League that Tottenham are fourth. It really is a terrible advert for the Premier League that Tottenham are fourth. And then Moore comes in. I can't remember when he was subbed in. It was about 85th minute. Decided, I'm going to put my mark on this game and nearly break someone's ankle, and immediately gets sent off. It was actually, Keane was involved in everything in this match. Everton's Keane, so he found Kane for the penalty. He nearly got his ankle broken by Moura, and then he scores an absolute fucking worldie that no one saw coming.
The Sean Dyche perfect hat trick.
That is what we're going to have to call it, because it was one of them where it was just it was so good that the crowd were just so up for it. When Keane's goal went in, it was just like the Everton fans just went absolutely insane, and one of them where you have to turn down the telly because you're like, fucking hell, like Kel's going to wake up. But it was absolutely brilliant. But only a draw still, only 1-1. Everton didn't win, but it must have felt like a win considering that Decore went off on about the 60th minute or whatever. But it genuinely, you watched that match, certainly the second half, and just went, Conte was right about everything. He was right about everything. And I get why he had to go, because you can't go in a presser and say what he said. But He was.
I mean, they'd also been horrible to watch the entire time.
Oh,
It's like somehow getting up. I know they've got games in hand and that, but somehow being fourth at the minute. I mean, United are on the same points as them.
damning indictment.
2
of the
games
Premier
in hand.
League. It's
Newcastle,
awful.
same points as them. 2 games in hand. So, but
Yeah.
even then, that drops them to 5th. I don't think Brighton get more than 7 points from their 3 games in hand. To on Tottenham anyway. To take them up there, but who knows? But yeah, that's bizarre.
If you get a
Absolutely.
chance, Chuck, watch the second half because genuinely, it's a great half of football. Cause,
Utter chaos.
yeah, it really is chaos. Sean Dyche going absolutely mad when Decore gets sent off. And then, because they've drawn in unlikely circumstances in the post-match, he's going, yeah, it was a red, wasn't it? Yeah. Which is really good, because if Keane hadn't scored, he'd have been in the post-match going, Harry Kane made a right meal out of that.
It's a bit soft, isn't it? I don't think it should have been a red.
You can't even put your hands in someone's face anymore. Tottenham.
Tottenham.
I mean, like you say, because Conte happened a little while ago, it's easy to forget that they are also rudderless. And what are they going to do? Where because the cynic in me says that Chelsea went, well, we might need a manager soon. Shall we just biff ours so as we can get anyone that Tottenham want just to fuck them off? Because you've now got 2 big, inverted commas again, clubs looking for managers. I know lots of managers want to get into the Premier League. Will they want to get in with Tottenham? Will they want to get in with Chelsea? No one wants to get in with Leicester. But I don't really know where Tottenham's what are Tottenham's odds manager wise. I haven't looked into that. Is it similar? Are they also in the race for Nagelsmann? Are they in the race for Rafa?
Are they? The race for Rafa, the race that no one wants to win.
Yeah.
Under starters' orders, they've shot themselves in the feet. It's Poch. Obviously, it's Poch is the favourite. Or Brendan Rodgers, actually, funnily enough.
He's been for that job before, Rodgers, of course.
Name a job he hasn't. But
that's true.
Pochettino at the minute, obviously, because of the fan sentiment around it.
Yes.
He's been out of work for a long time. Famously, the longer you're out of work in this profession, the more people pine for you and think you're a good option. But so we shall see. Who knows whether he goes in there? Maybe they offer it to Potter, but I don't know. They do seem to be in the market for former Chelsea managers.
Tottenham might offer it to Potter.
Tottenham.
Tottenham Hotspur.
Interesting as well that Tottenham are 4th currently in the league, but in terms of percentage odds on 538 for Champions League, they're 7th.
Lower than Liverpool and Brighton.
Lower than Liverpool and Brighton.
Oh, good Lord.
Absolute insanity, with Brentford just below them on 2%. Man City and Arsenal are over 99. Man United and Newcastle 68 and 66, which I guess we may as well talk about the absolute gubbing at St James's Park. The least indicative scoreline of the week as Newcastle thumped Manchester United 2-0, 3.7 XG to 0.4. Eric 2.5 Haag, it seemed like he was going to be doing a good job for a while. How long ago were everyone swings wildly? Remember when Man United were in a title race? Remember that, guys? It was only about 3 weeks ago. I know we went on holiday and have forgotten most things, but it's not been that many games.
I've got to put my hands up and say I thought United
we
had
did mention it, potentially.
a chance. Absolutely. Because they were... No, but...
Oh my God, remember when they lost 7-0 to Liverpool? Oh my God, I forgot that.
I remember all
I'm
these
just
things.
scrolling through results.
Oh, right,
I'm just learning these things for the first time. They drew 0-0 with Southampton. What the fuck?
All things that should have been indicators. I mean, good Lord. Man United, I talked about soft centres. My word. Man United were absolutely dominated in this game. They were absolutely dominated. And it was. I thought it was a bit. I don't know. Maybe crass of the mainstream media to be like, this is Newcastle getting revenge for the cup final.
Oh,
yeah. Remember that, the Carabao.
No.
I don't think it was about that at all. It was just Newcastle going, yeah, we're the same as you. You know,
just being better, just across the board, being better.
Absolutely, they really were, and Man United being this apparent one-man team, and if you've not got Casemiro, they're just absolutely so soft, and it's just you can't be that one man about everything when you've got Weghorst playing up front for you.
They've got. People said they were in a title race, and Wout Weghorst was their centre forward.
Relegated Burnley striker Wout Weghorst
Scored more goals in the group stages of the World Cup than he did in a season at Burnley. Wout Weghorst.
What a stat! What a stat!
Oh no, sorry. More goals in that extra time game against Argentina, wasn't it?
Just the one game.
2.
Okay, lovely. Yeah. Yep. Okay, good. I mean, yeah, it was just awful. Let's pop Bruno Fernandes back. He'll be a holding midfielder. He's the same as Casemiro. It'll be fine.
Yep.
Just really the weird tactical things that we had from Ten Hag in the first few games. Yeah, sorry, 2.5 Hag in the first.
In case you're wondering, they've lost 7 times, and I took half off for the 0-0 against Southampton. Just
Quite
those
rightly.
people listening at home, and I think my assessment is fair.
Yep, absolutely. I'm glad the counter's back. I'll be honest.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, this was a genuine domination and an embarrassment for Man United, because we've said it. Obviously, Newcastle have got the money, but they haven't yet.
So have Man United.
Yeah, exactly.
Famously,
it's not like Man United haven't spent money over the last billion years.
Yeah, forever.
So, you know, Newcastle haven't yet really flexed the financial muscles. You know, I know Trippier was a buy that they made that was maybe overpriced, and he has been amazing. But other than that, they've not gone crazy yet. And this seems to be something else that's going on. And you know, we've said they're ahead of the timescale, and they're ahead of Tottenham and Brighton and Liverpool when it comes to 538's chances of making. Well, no, they're ahead of all of them actually in the league. They're third, aren't they, after this win?
Newcastle, now third on goal difference.
So actually third, right? I don't even need to make sort of prediction excuses.
No.
They are actually third in the league. So yeah.
Yeah, you got Man United, Tottenham and Newcastle on 50 points. Then you got Brighton and Brentford on 43, Liverpool on 42,
Brentford.
Villa on 41, Fulham, who will now be without Mitrovic for 8 games after he decided to push a referee, the stupid sausage. But they still maintain being the best team in West London. Oh no, sorry, Brentford are obviously the best team in West London now. Apologies.
Yeah, of course, yeah. Oh my word! But when Ivan Toney gets his ban, that will probably drop away. But that will probably be next season. Yeah, what a season this is actually when you run down the league like this.
This is a shame, really, because the Premier League just vetoed their Netflix doing a Drive to Survive style on the Premier League. The Premier League rejected it. Yeah, I'm willing to bet it's because they probably want to do it themselves. But it's
it'll
really
be so
stupid.
much worse. It will be so much puff piece.
What they need to realise is what that Drive to Survive show has done for Formula One.
Yeah.
Like, it broke America in like the way the Beatles fucking have.
Yeah.
America went from like, as much as if you don't care about Formula One, cars going around in a circle, vroom, 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 whatever. They went from 1 race there to 4 within 2 seasons.
Yeah.
And that's huge and they're selling out every single week and they're like the highest price because of the Netflix documentary. As much as like the Premier League is the biggest game in the world and, a biggest league in terms of football in the world, they need, if they break that American market as well completely, then
like
just
with
be ridiculous.
that level of penetration, absolutely. I mean,
penetration.
Grow up. But
Never.
But you're absolutely right, actually, because the thing with Drive to Survive and what it did was it amazingly it managed to create drama, like personal dramas, out of a sport that had way more personal dramas back in the day. Like, when I used to watch Formula One sort of 15, 20 years ago, when it wasn't quite so much about the cars and the rules, like, it was way more about the personal dramas between the drivers and stuff like that. But what Drive to Survive managed to do is distill that, you know, that competitiveness that they all have, obviously, regardless of what the larger audience sees them as, and then package that and sell it. And yeah, like you say, what a crazy decision by the Premier League, because it will just be a puff piece if Premier League do it themselves, and it'll be terrible. It'll be like, I
mean, no, Amazon can't do it because Amazons are all puff pieces. So, you know, we didn't even get to see in the Tottenham one all the fights and the you know, players cheating on their
you
wives.
see such a little glimpse of things that might be really good. I mean, the Arteta drawing.
I've still not watched that show.
Have you not?
No.
Actually, there's some good bits in the Arsenal one that do make Arteta seem batshit crazy, but like,
I have eyes in regular life, Ian. I can see that man is batshit crazy.
Yeah, but like, you do sort of come away.
Wasn't there
quite
one where he
it.
drew a cartoon heart?
Oh, that's what I'm
and
talking about.
Brain holding hands.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it's because you totally believe that he's just done it on the fly,
but sincerely.
Yeah, heart on sleeve and indeed on whiteboard. But it is quite something. But yeah, you're right. With all these things, it gets watered down because you know that it's got club approval ultimately, which, of course, you know, waters it down.
Yeah. Well, there you go. That's Newcastle versus Man United. On the other side of Manchester, Man City absolutely gubbed Liverpool 4-1 again. You know, Arsenal
out, innit?
Arsenal matching what Man City did. But yeah, Man City 2.9 to 0.3. Is Klopp actually out? Has he clocked out?
But
clocked in?
I don't know what any other manager could do, if I'm honest, because this is a team that has been playing incredibly intensely for a few seasons now because he demands it. And he demands it because it's the only way to win. But at the minute, he hasn't quite got the squad depth to deal with the few injuries that they've had and the fact that he hasn't got a midfield anymore. And that was evident here because this was Man City did as close an approximation to the sort of old Dutch 70s total football as I can think of, in that everyone was covering every other player's position. Everyone, well, I mean, it's been well covered about how Grealish was sensational, up and down like a bride's nightie.
Absolutely,
you know?
It is beautiful. The fact that people were slagging off for so long about saying, "Oh, how is he worth 100 million?" Like, you need to look at that team and just everything. Okay, you fucking idiots. And it would take time for him to bed in. He's been phenomenal recently. I've absolutely loved watching him play, and it's good because he's a very fun, exciting player to watch. He was like that at Villa. Obviously, his responsibilities and position in the club was completely different, in a completely different system.
Yeah.
And he got the chance to shine there. But now, through his natural ability, on top of understanding the system and where players will be and what is expected of him functionally from Guardiola, he's now shining again. And so all of those people can shut the fuck up. That he's fucking great at football. He's just such a joy to watch when he's like this.
The people that you're talking about, Chuck, are ignoring that there might be a jump up from playing under Dean Smith to then going to play for Pep Guardiola.
Huge if true.
And he's going to require
We need to commission an athletic long read comparing the potential differences between Dean Smith and Pep Guardiola.
And I'm not having a go at Dean Smith. I like him as much as the next person who likes an anonymous manager.
Is he from the Midlands? Tick.
Sure.
Does he have hair? Yes. Those are two things, up on Guardiola, aren't they? Yeah.
I don't know why the Midlands is an advantage. I'll take the hair. But
is he a bald fraud? Well,
no.
I'll let you be the judge.
But yeah, exactly. You cannot judge Grealish in his first season under Guardiola. It's going to
manager by his hairline.
You can't judge a manager by his hairline. It's going to take time. And Grealish was absolutely impervious this game. And the whole team, just Alvarez as well, was quite something. I mean, that is the second choice striker for Manchester City. And you just got to...
World Cup winning striker Julian Alvarez is the second choice.
and
Mad. So fun.
A bit more of a Pep type of striker, dare you say, than a Haaland. But I mean, obviously, that doesn't matter because Haaland
why not have both?
Does goals. But it was just this was Liverpool still tried to press Man City, and when that didn't work, they didn't stop trying to press, but they didn't have the energy. They ran out of energy so quickly, and when, like I say, Man City are doing their thing of just everyone covers for everyone. So if Liverpool go narrow, they will immediately, as soon as they get the ball, they will go wide. Like, it's just they react so well to what the other team are doing, even if the other team is Liverpool, which, let's face it, their starting 11 has an incredible amount of quality. But this looked like a team that just knew, we're going to outdo you. Whatever you do, we're going to outdo you. Don't even worry about it. And this is a team that isn't absolutely knackered. And Liverpool look like they're absolutely knackered. Every game, even games against lower league opposition, lower in the league opposition, they still look like sometimes at 75 minutes that they're absolutely gassed and they're done. And that is, I think, indicative of, as I say, squad depth, what they've done over the last few years. And Man City, because again, Liverpool scored first in this game. But
really conforming to the Forstall FC kind of stereotype that we're building.
Exactly.
Oh, they've scored early. Oh, Salah, Liverpool are back. No.
Oh, actually, I meant to say, see also Anthony for Man United. False Dawn players that aren't great that we've called. It might have been Adam, I don't know, but we'll claim it.
I think it was Adam.
Yeah, fine. But, he's one of us, in a way.
Yeah.
And
just a shame we won't be seeing him for a while.
Yeah, it is a shame. So exactly what we're saying, that you come against this sort of Man City team who aren't absolutely shattered, even though they're playing so many games.
A bajillion games!
They still
all the games
don't seem tired compared to this Liverpool team.
Nah, Liverpool are just cooked, but the City have had the biggest squad for ages, but we've seen it now. There probably does need to be a big kind of upheaval at Liverpool in one way or another. Mm-hmm. And to be honest, I don't think it's the manager in this situation. Perhaps it's the players, because they, no matter what, they need players.
It might be what the managers demanded, but at the same time, they wouldn't have done what they did if he hadn't have been as demanding as he was. So, what do you want?
For so long, if it wasn't in a league with Man City, they would have done a Man City. They would have won 4 seasons. Something like, they would have been ridiculous.
Yep.
Their dominance would have been huge.
Yep.
It's just unfortunate that they had to exist in a space with that sky blue monster. So there we go. Who are they're still chasing down Arsenal, game in hand, 8 points. They win that. That's against Brighton, I believe. That takes them to 5, and then the 26th of April, we get to see them both play each other again. So who knows? That could be huge. Either way, I guess the 538 percentages at the moment do still have it as a coin flip. 49%.
Oh, wow.
49% for City and 51% for Arsenal.
Sorry, I looked at it just before you said it, and I didn't know it was actually that close. But that feels right, because Man City,
game in hand, and they play Arsenal at the Etihad.
This is the thing.
And the teams they play, City's next games: Southampton, Leicester, Fulham, West Ham, Leeds, Everton, Chelsea, and Brentford.
This is it.
Just win all those games, every game.
So
Arsenal need to win every game.
It's so unlikely that Man City drop many, if any, points. And so, you really do think Arsenal have got to be absolutely bang on their bullshit.
They've got to win. They've got to win every game.
It's not far. Yeah,
outside of the Man City game, they have to win every game.
Yeah,
that's the only way they win the league, I think. Because I think Man City win all of their games left. So if Arsenal don't lose the Man City game and then win all their other games, they're fine. But they've got Chelsea, they've got Newcastle. That could be quite difficult. That's Newcastle away at St James's as well. They've got Brighton, Liverpool next. So yeah,
the coin flip feels right. It does feel right. Anything to say about the Roy-volution at Crystal Palace?
Never heard of him. What?
No. I mean, you're the Rodgers killers. The 2-1. I genuinely think Rodgers wouldn't have been sacked if it wasn't for Mateta's last-minute winner against Leicester. Palace did look different. I mean, like Mateta's goal I talk about there, the back to goal touch and then drive on and score. That was it felt indicative of Palace doing that a lot. They seem to get the ball a lot with their back to goal and then just go turn and push forward. I know that you are not a Hodgson apologist, far from it, but this game did look better for Palace and has given you a little bit of a cushion now to the bottom three. Are the vibes any different for you? You just are still checked out, or I know this season's a bit of a nothing, but like
I have 2 points.
Mm-hmm.
One, really irritates me the lazy takes about Palace looking better or being better in this game. For example, when Match of the Day said Palace had more shots in this one than they had in their last 4 combined. Oh, it's changed. Blah, blah. We played Man City, Arsenal at home, and we played Brighton and Aston Villa away. 4 incredibly good teams in this league. So shut up with all of that absolute nonsense. I would not expect anything different than this result, whether Roy was there or Patrick Vieira was there. That just sums up everything for me. Look back on the fixtures and the way we've been, the number of goals conceded, defensive solidity, all of that over this period. Secondly, I don't give a shit about this team until Roy Hodgson is gone, because it represents everything just fucking systemically wrong, top to bottom, with that club. I hate it. I don't want to talk about it. Don't care.
Okay.
Vibes, no vibes. Premier League, Championship. Don't care.
Sorry for bringing it up, but I just thought I would, just in case there was.
I'm sure some people want it addressed. Oh, blah, blah, blah. Oh, what's he going to be like if he wins? Blah, 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 and they get to the season. I don't care.
Well, this season doesn't matter.
I don't. There's no big gain to my life about 11 men running around a field. Don't care.
Yeah.
And if that club brings me more negative than positive because of their stupid actions and terribleness, cut it out.
Fair enough.
I've been here before, guys. This is it.
Not your first rodeo.
Southampton are getting relegated. Suave McTurtleneck is not doing enough to save them.
Oh, God, I've not checked in with him for a while.
The headlocked Welshman seems like the tide has turned a bit of Forest and they've got a bit of a rough one.
There were vague rumours of Cooper being, again, talked about as a possibility to be sacked, but I mean, I don't know. They seem to go away. I did hear that the board was considering it. As we speak right now, Leeds have just equalised against Forest.
Oh! I was just about to say, as we speak, that Forest are 1-0 up.
Literally, I've just seen the notification that Leeds have equalised. I mean, Forest are they're looking like their form is so up and down. I'd love to see Forest stay up, but I think there's a lot's got to go in their favour for it to happen,
Yeah.
But having said that, the bottom is so congested at the minute that maybe a lot hasn't got to go in their favour. I don't know. It feels like their squad is not cohesive enough yet to do it. Because we are talking about 8-9 games left, aren't we?
25 players they signed this year.
Yes, sorry, if we're talking numbers, yes. We are talking that amount of players. Not many games left. And they've got to get it together.
And the
quickly.
teams they play.
I think Cooper is a brilliant manager.
He's brilliant. He's done a great job. The teams they play: Villa, Man United, Liverpool, Brighton, Brentford, Southampton, Chelsea, Arsenal, Palace.
That feels tough. I mean, points-wise, that feels so tough because other teams
obviously they're
are going to
playing
get
Leeds
points
now.
Yeah.
They need to beat Leeds. You're
hearing it live as we.
Yeah, they need to.
Need to win now.
Be beating or have beaten Leeds just to cover all of the tenses.
Yeah.
Their Southampton game is at home, so that should be 3 points based on their form and Southampton's form.
Yeah.
And then otherwise, can they do an upset against United, Brighton, or Arsenal? God knows. At home, probably not.
I didn't realise those were the fixtures. That is probably why 538's got them at 60% to go down.
Yeah, they're second
similar points to
favourites,
everyone
sadly.
else. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So
I did not realise that was the fixture list.
Ooh,
Oof,
I don't really
tough.
want to end on downers.
Okay, well.
Has anything else funny happened?
Well, if you don't want to end on downers, you
Just
can
uppers.
you can talk about FPL if you like, but just because.
No.
No. I know your team
fuck.
isn't tremendous, but
Tremendous.
my team
It's really
on.
bad. I don't. I'm sorry, Ian. I don't know if. Well, you should probably take this the right way. I'm not going to take joy from you doing poorly.
Oh, okay. That's a.
If it'll make you feel better to vent, you go ahead.
Right. Okay. I don't know how to
just
take
do the
that.
top
You've
10.
blindsided me.
Yeah, we could just do the top 10 and get out of here.
Okay. Well, I'll try and make you feel a little bit better. In that I've put all my stock this year in that my chip play will be good.
Excellent.
And that will get me out of the doldrums.
100%.
And I have played my free hit this week, and my game week rank is
Excellent.
over 8 million.
That's a negative. Now you need 2 positives.
Bloody Chris Rea. So.
Oh, no one likes a bloody Chris Rea.
Yeah, so it's going very badly, and I should retire post haste. But yeah, fine. Okay, I don't need to talk about it any more than that. I thought that might cheer you up a little bit.
I'm around 9 million. So although because of you telling me Saka would be benched, and I was really angry with you about making me do it, I cancelled my bench boost, but it's worked out quite well.
Patreon.com/milesofsidepod. I'll let you know that Saka's going to be benched, and people will say, "Nah, I don't necessarily think that's going to happen." Oh, who said that? Some cunt or other. I don't know. Oh, fucking hell! Ian don't know what he's talking about. Saka was fucking benched. I will give you that sort of shit 10 minutes before the deadline, and if you're not on the Slack, that's your fucking problem. But whatever. I'll let you know.
I benefited.
It probably wasn't even 10 minutes. It was about 3 minutes before the deadline,
It was
I think.
very tight, yeah.
But whatever. I heard it and I put it on there and I said, I don't know if it's true, but whatever. That's what you're getting on Patreon. So
Patreon.com/milesofsidepod.
and that stopped you free hitting, did it?
It stopped me bench boosting.
Okay.
And so my bench currently would have had Saka, Haaland, and Danny Ward on it. And Andreas Pereira would have been there as well, but that's that's just 6 points.
Yeah.
So thanks.
So there you go. We know FPL things.
In a way.
What's your plan for? I mean, we'll get a bit into FPL that we don't usually, but what's your plan for the bench boost? And are you going to do it on game week 34 or
sure?
Something?
When's that?
A few weeks away, but that's the double. That's yeah, you might need to plan for that, mate. Because
I probably should.
34, maybe 37, but it'll be a bit smaller, I imagine.
Okay, well, 34.
Just planning my whole FPL team for the last 8 weeks.
Well, I might give you my password then, because game week 34 to 36, I am not in the country. So.
Oh, okay. They do have internet in other countries. Yeah, for a while now. Yeah.
Did that Tim Berners-Lee guy went round and had a word?
Yep, went round to all the countries, all of them, and said you might want to pop this in. Bit of fibre optics and job done.
Wow, how about that? World leading. That's what you get when you take back control, baby.
You should know now.
All this sovereignty to give out.
How widespread. Well, I'll tell 2 things now. You should know how widespread the internet was when we were driving to New York and I was editing the podcast and uploading it in the back of a Volkswagen GTI.
I don't pay attention to when you're.
No, you weren't. I know, but I was beavering away like a little beaver and managed to get a podcast up while we were travelling. And I can't remember what the other point was I was going to make.
Excellent. So you just wanted to martyr yourself. Top 10 FPL League in 10th place with 1860 points. FFC. Stupid name, Sabs. 76-point week so far. 9th place, Zaha. Oh, yes. Yeah, he's injured. Out for the season. Bye. See you later. Gerald Griffith, 1861. In 8th place, Baby Jota, Gabriel Penalosa, 1863. Egan in 7th. Yash Mishra, 1865. 6th place. Oh, there's been a bit of a tumble. Michelle Marlborough, Miles United, 71 points for the week, 1866. But tied with Vinley. Brung back the song. Now please change your team name. Question mark 57, 1866 as well. So you never know, Michelle, you might take him back. 4th place, Swap Nil Pandey. I'm not some in 85 points, 1870. Mighty Reds Wannabes, eh? That's come out of nowhere, and I definitely closed the league, so that can't be
that might be genuine. That might be a bench boost or something, though.
80 points so far, so pretty good. 80 so far. Andrew Mercer, Mighty Reds Wannabes. Oh, current live points is 89. Oh, so 1874. Second place, resurgent like the proverbial salmon, Sam Danby Bailey. Little Tony, he's on 77, so could get caught by Andrew Mercer. Who knows? 1890 points, and first place, still my guy, still my favourite team name, Rubberdina Rapids, Toby Ackland. He's on 1900 points, 24k rank. Congratulations to you,
I've remembered
sir.
what the other story I was going to tell, which was
okay. Go on then.
So obviously we met up in the airport before we were due to fly to America.
Right.
And before I'd even sat down in my stool,
yeah,
you were waving your blue passport in my face.
Yeah.
Shouting, look at all the sovereignty, look at all the control. Because I've still got an old maroon passport that has the European Union written on it.
Yep.
And
as I sat there drinking my Mexican beer.
And it was the middle of the afternoon. There was no one really in that bar. And you were just waving a blue passport in my face.
I believe I did it every single day for a week as well.
Oscar would attest to that. Yeah.
Every time it hurt you just a little bit, I saw a little bit of light.
It did. And what hurt me more is when we went out drinking with Brandon from Always Cheating and Michelle, one of our Patreons.
Shout out.
At one point, Michelle went...
Yeah, what did you say?
Oh, did you actually vote for Brexit, Ian? Fucking hell, man. I lost my mind. I could not believe that your little fucking jokes, had leaked out into the real world and infected people's minds, rather like Brexit. And
sure. It's really weird, though, that you didn't actually answer the question. You just got very angry and animated.
I did get very angry. I was very something about taking back control.
Very turned on, I must say, in that moment. But I feel like you really embraced the American culture. You were really upset when you had to give back all the freedom and your gun. You were despondent.
Yeah.
Had to cradle you like a babe on the aeroplane. But we had a bloody lovely time. Back to life, soul to soul. You don't have the soundboard, but I'm going to assume that you've started the music already in your head.
How quick you do this.
Thank you very much, everyone, for listening and enduring that. Hopefully, Adam will be back from #Visit Rwanda next week to join us. But until then, say goodbye, Mr. Ian of Stimpson.
I just think Braverman's got some good ideas.
Oh, Jesus Christ, not even joke about it. Thanks very much to our producer patrons, unless they're going to leave after this. Tom, Jeff, Mark, Nate, Jeff, Andy. I said Jeff twice. Jeff? Is Jeff one? Jeff.
For the avoidance of doubt, she's a moron.
Jeff. Bye.
Oh, good.
Jeff. Sam!